At the time of first Euro settlement 150 years ago, the giant trees of ancient forests reached to the water's edge and continued unbroken to the mountains in the distance. Mild climate, heavy rainfall, and suitable soil conditions led to the growth of forests on such a monumental scale that early arrivers wrote to their relatives back east that they had to be seen to be believed. Over 1,000 native people lived in Whatcom County, utilizing the forests and water resources to make their living. Both the Lummies of Lummi Peninsula and the Nooksaaks who lived upriver came to Bellingham for fish and shellfish. There was a seasonal living site at the mouth of Whatcom Creek. The Lummies were important in the development of the bay's first European settlement. They brought the first Euro settlers to Bellingham Bay by canoe, helped to build the first buildings here, helped clear the land, and often provided food resources to help the new settlers through their first winters. Native American culture and perspective continue to influence our community today. For better or worse, the Euro-American settlement on Bellingham Bay changed thick forest land, mudflats, and saltwater coastline into a thriving city as the giant trees were logged, the multitudes of salmon were caught, and the coal was dug out of the surrounding hillsides. The Big Depression of 1893 halted all the action. The boom quickly became a bust. Banks failed, businesses closed, and the Depression took Fairhaven down with it, as well as activities in the other Bay cities. Today, on Bellingham's south side, the name Fairhaven is still used for the commercial and suburban area. On consolidation in 1904, the new city of Bellingham had a population of 22,000. The local economy was based on fishing and canning, logging and milling, farming and mining. Bellingham had 3 railroads plus steamship connections, streetcar lines, brick school buildings, one of the largest theaters in the West, industry, population, electricity, telephones, plans for deep waterways in the bay, and a thriving downtown core.
Black Buoy off Cypress Island. Oak Harbor was named after, obviously, Oak Harbor was named after the great oak trees were there. But those oaks were prominent even in Coopville, which was the first little town we were in. And I can remember as a small child climbing up on these enormous branches that seemed to branch out even almost over the water, and it was quite exciting. And there was no bridge there at that time. There was a little steamboat came to a dock at Coopville, and I can remember the big adventure of my life was to go to Seattle on that and be with an aunt for a short vacation.
Well, my mother would have had our births in our longhouse, you know, but we moved into the longhouse from a tent. After they had forced us to give up our homes, you know, they forced us to give up our long homes. So they had to be burned down. And the one that we had, that my grandfather owned, you know, was the one that I described. It was a square longhouse and with a dirt floor.
Father was a warehouseman. He worked from the time he was 13 for 52 years for the Pacific American Fishery, although there was a short time in there when they weren't working that he would work in the mill down here on the south side as well.